So the first step would be always like how do you access our portal? So there is steps that are involved in making you eligible to access our portal. So what are those process? First point is to access the URL of the portal. You need to have a process called self-registration.
Suresh, PPT is not visible. Team, others, Robert, can you see the PPT?
Yes, Nirmala, we are able to see the PPT.
Okay, then go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is there. I'm seeing on a mobile also.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
Fine. So in your screen right now, you are seeing the URL of the PBL app. It's on the top. It is https://wipro.com/PBL app. So this is the URL which you'll be using to access the learning content. Now, what is the steps? The very first time when you are going to hit this URL on your browser, it automatically redirects you to a page of self-registration and sign up. So that's the screen what you are seeing on the right side. So you have a sign in option, and at the bottom, if you see, there is a message like if you don't have an account, sign up now. So there is something called a sign up now, which you need to click. All right. So you are going to do a self-registration for the very first time when you are opening the URL. Now, what are the elements that you need to give for registration? It's very simple. All you need to know is about you should have the email ID, right? The first input that you're going to give will be the email ID. So when you provide the email ID, please be careful that you should give the same email ID that you have given on Wipro records. So whatever ID, whatever personal email ID that you have given on Wipro records, please use the same email ID for registration. So you first provide your email ID, then click on the send verification code button. You will get a 6-digit access code on the registered email ID. Provide it again. And then below, if you see, you can set your own password. So set your password. There is a password strength check. So you should have a password with a combination of uppercase, lowercase, symbols and numbers. So provide those things, confirm it, then provide your display name, given name and surname. The display name and the given name can be same. So this is a simple registration process. Once that is done, you just click on the create button and you get a message confirming that your account is successfully created. So it's a one-time activity. You have to give all these informations. The only pre-check which you should be careful is you have to provide the same email ID what you've given on Wipro record. Else your access will not be activated. Right. So once that is done, for the subsequent next time, when you get the same page, you can just provide the email ID and the password what you have set to proceed further. Right. Now, what is the step you have completed is you have completed a step for accessing the URL. Right. So next time in the same browser, when you are opening the URL, our URL like talentx.wipro.com/PBL app, you will straight away land into the main page of PBL app, right? So this is the main page of your PBL app where you have your regular login button coming up, right? So if your first stage of registration is fine with the same email ID, then you will get this page. In case you get this page without a login button, a plain page that shows there is an issue with your self-registration, please go ahead, check on that, reset it, and then come back to this screen. Now, as a regular process, what you're going to do, you're going to just click on the login button on the top, the green color button, you will be asked to enter your email ID and password. So provide the same email ID and password which you have created to successfully sign in. The moment every time you click on the sign in button, you will get a 6-digit ID in your registered email, get it authenticated, right? So the 6-digit IDs comes only to the registered email ID and not to the mobile number. It's only to the email ID. So what is the steps here? You give your email ID, you give your password. The next step, it asks to click on a button for sending the verification code. You get the verification code, type it down, and there you get a successful message stating your email ID is verified. Kindly ensure that when you provide the verification code, that should happen within 30 to 45 seconds max, else the session get expired. Now, if you have successfully gone through this process, your first stage of verification is done. So the entire process takes roughly 30 seconds. Once you have successfully done that particular point, you get into the next page where you get a welcome message with your display name that you have set. And in that screen, it asks for your Pbl App Id, right? So this is the second step for you to verify. You get a welcome message, and then it is asking you to enter your Pbl App ID. Now, what is your Pbl App ID? You have something called a superset ID. The superset ID becomes your Pbl App ID, all right? So you have to provide your superset ID into the text box. Don't just copy paste things with extra spaces or anything special characters. Enter your exact superset ID. Then you have a checkbox at the bottom. Click on that to understand the privacy terms and click on the proceed button. So once you have successfully provided the correct Pbl App ID, you are authenticated to get the course content. Now, before I move further, we will also look into some of the common error messages which you may get at the time of providing your Pbl App ID. What are the common messages that you get is these three messages. One, you can get a message called Invalid Pbl App Id. What does it mean? It clearly shows that you have entered a wrong superset ID as your Pbl App ID. If that doesn't match, you will not be able to proceed further. If you see the second screen, you're getting a different message. It says like account not found. Account not found or invalid in Pbl app. This clearly shows that you are trying to log in with an email ID which is not given as per our records. So you might have given a different personal email ID, but what you have registered will be something different. So if your email ID, if your superset ID doesn't match, then you will get a message saying account not found. The third screen says session expired. This error comes when say you are having a network disconnect in between this process, or there is a lot of delay for you to give all these required IDs. In that case, you get a session expired. Nothing to worry on that point. At the bottom of the screen, you see a link called click here to re-login. So just to do a re-login and give your credentials again, then start working. So this is the process with respect to your self-registration and logging in as a regular process. Now, we have done everything perfect. We have successfully got authenticated. You land into the learning area. Now comes what is that you're going to learn, right? So you are going to have two set of learning content available to you. One in the form of a foundation and the other one in the form of a core learning. I'll let you know the difference between both this foundation and core learning. Now, before we start our foundation and core learning, there is one more a mandatory kind of course that is activated to you, which you need to complete as the first part. So there is nothing but a course which is related to information security awareness, which is again one de facto mandatory for anyone to learn, understand, and make yourself clear. So you get a pop-up of this message saying that you need to take up the information security awareness course. Click on the proceed button. You get into the information security course, which is a very simple course of 3 videos, right? So you get into the course, complete those 3 learning videos. Once you complete the learning, you will have a quiz assigned to that particular learning. Take up the quiz, ensure that you are aware on the information security module, complete it, then you can come to the main page to continue your foundation and core learning, right? So the first part of learning which is been given to you is the information security awareness course. Once that is done, you get back to the main page where you have the segments of PGP foundation and a PGP core. Now, what is foundation? What is PGP core? When you click on the PGP foundation, you will be entering into a segment of learning certain basics, which is required for any guy, any person who enters into the IT world. Now, when you get into the PGP foundation, you will be seeing something called foundation, motivation, and IT trends. First, you are getting into the foundation part. In the foundation part, you have been assigned with 4 basic courses. It starts from operating system to database fundamental, OOPS, and web programming. All these are video based courses. All these 4 are a basic thing which anybody should be aware of. So you can go to any of these courses. Again, it is all video based. Complete your understanding. If you are already familiar with these fundamentals, then quite good. You can just take up the quiz which has been assigned on these courses, complete, and then move further. So all these 4 foundation courses will have a quiz related to it. Take up the quiz, post your learning, and then complete all the 4. So these 4 things are part of your foundation. Once you complete that foundation, is another segment called IT trends. The difference between foundation and IT trends is foundation talks about the basic courses, whereas the IT trends talks about the technologies which are we call as a niche skill or the emerging one, something like what is DevOps, what is Git, what is IoT, what is artificial intelligence. So these kind of 8 to 10 courses, which you can scroll left and right, these courses will give you a fair intro level idea on what all these new jargons and technologies are, which will definitely help you to improve those areas further. So these 2 parts are the part of your foundation program, the foundation as well as your IT trends. Once these are done, you can go back to the main learning part. That is what is available under PGP core. Either you can go with the main menu or you can click on the PGP core, which is being shown in this screen. Now, once I get into PGP core, that is the key learning segment that is available to you. What I'm going to do here? What is the technology I'm going to learn here? What are the elements that are available will be explained right now. Fine. Now, once I enter in the core, not everyone will be having a same technology stream. Based on the business and project requirement, each one of you are subgrouped and you are being mapped to a specific technology might be like Java, .NET, Python, and so many other tools and technologies. Whatever stream you have been assigned, those content will be available to you. So each one of you will be assigned a specific technology stream, and those stream content only will be available for you on the left side navigations. Now, how do I know what is a stream I'm being assigned? Just look into the top blue menu bar, which in the center of the screen has a tag called stream that shows which stream you are being assigned. Now, whatever stream you're being assigned, whatever technology you've been assigned, the way you're going to learn, the approach that you're going to follow, the look and feel on this portal, the elements that are available remains same. So for the purpose of the demo, I'm showing you the Java based content. However, whatever stream you have been mapped, you're going to look into the same kind of approach. Right. So before I continue further, I would like to emphasize on a few points on what is the style of learning that we are going to adapt here. All these days, as part of your college work and learning, the approach that you might have followed is a little different on two aspects. One, more emphasis is given on the theoretical part of learning, and hands-on maybe a limited activity, or even we say that we practice a fixed set of programs to make sure that things are completed. However, here the approach that will be followed is completely different. In fact, we have devised a framework, and that we are going to follow is called project-based learning. So the framework, the type of learning that you're going to adapt is what we call as project-based learning. And you can see the mantra over there, I do and I understand. So here the focus is going to be more on doing lot of hands-on, lot of assignments rather than just learning some theoretical aspects. Right. So having said that, you are going to do a lot of projects and hands-on as part of this learning journey. Fine. Now I'll come to the elements of your portal. What is that you're going to do and what are the elements that are available? Now, if you see on the left side of your screen, that is the menu navigation part. On the top, there are certain generic links which we'll be discussing once we go further. You can see something like metal usage guide, CC tracker usage guide, logic building, code completion tracker. So those will come step by step. At the second part, if you see, there are something called the tech modules and capsule. So that is where you're going to concentrate more. Now, how do I identify and what is the difference between tech module and capsule? It's very simple. Whatever menu items you're going to see on the left side on a blue color, for example, say Java fundamentals or OOPS kind of links, those are called modules. The other gray ones which you are seeing, something like version control, Eclipse overview, logic building, the gray ones are called capsule. So there will be a difference between capsule and module. The main learning is going to happen with the help of modules, and the supportive items will happen with the help of capsules. Now, based on the technology stream that is being mapped to you, the number of modules will be there ranging from 10 to 12 or 15 modules. And each module will follow a same layout and approach. Now, I'll just click on the Java fundamentals module. Just open one module. Let's see what are the things which are available on a particular module. When you click on any of the modules, the blue ones, each module will consist of 4 parts. It starts with a mini project. Every module will start with a project, a mini project. Then there is something called a topics to learn, learning outcome, followed by sample questions. So as I told you a little earlier, it is more into project-based activity. So what is your approach of learning here is like this. You start off with a module. Now once you open a particular module, you first open the project. Based on the module, you'll be having 1 or 2 projects which has been assigned. So open the project, it opens in a separated tab. Understand what is the requirement of this particular project. What is the requirement? What is the ask for the project? What is the expected output of the project? Just have a look into the project. It's just a simple 2 to 3 page of project. Not necessary that you need to do it immediately. You have a requirement now. You have a project. So what is the next step? To complete the project, I need to learn certain topics, right? This has already been given like topics covered. So to do this particular project, I need to have a knowledge on the architecture, language basics, flow control, statement and array kind of things. So how do I learn? That comes the second part called topics to learn. So once you go to the second part, topics to learn, you will have 2 parts here. One is your learning material and followed by a set of hands-on assignments. So since this particular module has 4 topics, you have a Java architecture, language basics, flow control and arrays. You can open the topic. Now each topic will have 2 parts. One is the learning content. Again, the learning content is also going to be different here. It is not a stereotypic of a learning. Only one way of learning is available here. No, that is not the case. For each of the topic, there are multiple ways of learning provided to you. It can be in the form of a PDF file. It can be an external website links. It can be a video links. So there are multiple ways of learning a particular topic. These are selected and curated for your easy reference. So whichever you feel convenient, maybe 1 or 2 methods or more methods, you can go ahead, understand that particular topic in different ways. Once your learning is completed, once you come down, you will have a set of related hands-on assignments. So based on the topics, it can range from 3 to 10 hands-on assignments. Go to the hands-on assignments. It's a small program kind of thing. Understand what is that requirement and start doing that hands-on assignment. Now, where do you do this hands-on assignment? It will be on your local machine with your local setup. Of course, in this menu, the first element will be something called environment setup. That guide will help you to know what are the softwares to be downloaded and how your environment has to be kept ready before you start your learning. So you can do all these assignments, have a proper naming convention for your programs. Once those things are completed, you can see there is a checkbox against each of the assignments. Have a mark of it, check that checkboxes, and on the top you see something called upload, update completion status. So click on that to have a track on how many exercise you have completed. So this is the approach which you're going to follow for all the topics being given. Now, once all the topics learning is completed, that means you have learned the necessary things which will help you to complete the assigned project. Now go back to the project. Since you have learned the necessary items, now you will be free to complete that particular project. So this is how you need to do for every project and every topics for each of the modules that are being assigned to you. The last 2 parts are the learning outcome, which will set the expectations of the module. And the beautiful last item is the sample questions. This sample question will help you as a recap point. It's like you should be able to answer these questions which are part of that particular module. If you are done, you are good to go for the next module. If you feel that you are not able to answer a few questions, it's a time to do a relearn. So go back to the topic, relearn again, get yourself comfortable and then move forward, right? So this is the approach which you'll be following for any of the modules which is being assigned to you, right? So that's you are completing your foundation. In the core learning, you are completing your technical modules on your stream. Hope you are able to understand the things which I'm saying till now. Now we are going to move to the next part of learning. Again, a very important aspect. It's not about just writing a program or saying that I get no zero compilation error, I get some output. That may be the case when we are doing our college work, but not as an IT professional. So in the IT side, when you are being taken as a programmer, a developer, or a designer, however it is, it's not about just getting an output. It's about how best we get the output or a solution for a program. So it's not just writing a code. So how do I get a perfect program? How do I get a professional code? It all depends on how best you are able to involve your logic building capability and problem solving techniques. So unless and until you have a good problem solving handling techniques, you will not be able to write a perfect code. So this section, the logic building section, again on the PBL app portal, will help you to mold yourself into writing good professional programs and will help you to improve your problem solving capability. So there are few documents. It is in the form of a capsule. It will be on the gray color. Your document like logic building R plan, M1A, 2A, and 2B kind of document. The initial document will focus more on the different approaches which you can adapt, right, to solve variety of programs, variety of scenarios. So these documents, the 7 documents, will help you to understand that. First, learning the basics. You have been given a set of exercises, problem statements, which you can practice to build your logics. So in the consequent documents, you have been given a lot of demo programs on a platform called Metal. So there are links given. There are close to 50 to 60 links are available. You can see on the screen also. These problems will range from easy to medium to difficult level. So all you need to do is copy this link. Do not just click on the link. It is protected. So just copy and paste those links on a new tab, or you can just drag and drop. Once you are there, you have a problem statement. You have an environment to type your code. You can compile, run your code against a set of test cases to understand how your logic fits as per the requirement. So if a person is able to spend some adequate time on this, practice all the given demo assignments, I'm sure that you can have a lot of improvement on your problem solving capability, right? So this is the second part of core learning, which you need to complete as part of your learning process. So you have your foundation, you have your core learning on the different modules, you are completing the projects, and also you are spending a quite amount of time on improving your logic building capability. Right. Now the third part comes into picture. You are doing your learning, you are doing the project, you're completing it. Now, how do you send your completed work to us for a review and check? There comes another tool called Code Completion Tracker. The link is available on the main screen. You also have a guide for the Metal environment as well as for the CC tracker. You have a detailed picture-based guide available to you on how to use these tools. So once you click on the link for CC tracker, it asks for an authentication. The authentication here is you need to provide your PBL App ID, which is your superset ID here. That's a default username and password. Once you get into the CC tracker, again, based on the modules which are being assigned to you, you will have the same modules listed on the CC tracker with 2 sections showing a project submission and hands-on submission. So this is the place where you will be uploading your completed task. So what is the process to create your file? What is the naming that you need to follow for your file is all given on the top bar with yellow and red color for the instructions. Please follow the same thing. Now, how do I upload? And in what are the ways I can upload? You can upload only a plain text file or a zip file, nothing beyond that. No other formats are supported. And in the zip file, you are supposed to have only your plain source code of your activity. No DLLs, libraries, jar file, exes are allowed. Those will be rejected. So hence, please keep your zip file very precise with only the plain source code of the activity. Now, how do I upload? You need to do two selections. On the left side, if you see, there are some TM numbers, tech module number. So click on the button for which module you're going to upload. Then if you come down, you'll have another selection whether you want to upload a project or an exercise. So select that you want to upload a project, select on that button. Then you have a file selection. Select the particular file, either a plain text or your zip file. Select it, and then you can click on a button called upload zip file. The moment you upload the file, it will be going for a cross check for any malware and unwanted file structures. The various checks will be done, and if everything is fine, only then your file gets uploaded. If it is fine, there is no issues, you get a green tag saying that the file is successfully uploaded. There will be a date and time stamp to ensure that at what time the file got captured. In any case, you missed something, there is an error, you get a red badge coming up with the respective error messages. So that will help you understand whether you have uploaded successfully or not. Right. Once you have uploaded, it will not reflect immediately against the particular a tech module. It takes little time because it needs a recap and check. Once that review and check is done, then it gets reflected against that particular module, right? So you can see against every module what is the submission that you have done. Now there will be a question here like what happens if I want to upload multiple times for a module, or if I have uploaded wrongly, what can be done? So you don't have an option to delete your uploads. Each uploads are captured. If there is a change, no issues. You can just re-upload a new file and the latest file will be taken for consideration, right? So this is what you do, and this will be taken for a tracking for your completions. You have to upload both the projects as well as your hands-on assignments. Now coming to the next part, it's again important. You are going to do your remote learning with this portal. There are chances where you get stuck, where you need a hand-holding, you need a support, you need a query to be answered. So to whom you're going to call and ask, all right? So how do I get your doubts clarified? So we have a support for that also. There is something called discussion forum, which is again, the link is available on the main page. Once you get into the discussion forum, follow the login process. There you have your PBL app ID, going to be your username, and there's a default password which you can change later. Once you are inside the discussion forum, again based on the module, based on the technology that is being mapped to you, you'll get all those forums listed. So all you need to do is, if you have a doubt on a specific topic or a module, go to that respective forum. Say, for example, you have a doubt with, say, arrays, then you go to that particular topic. If you have a doubt on JUnit module, go to that particular module. There will be a button called post reply. So post your queries over there. It can even handle a screenshot if there is any hands-on related queries. So once you post the query, there are two options here. One, your colleagues who are part of the same batch will also be there. And if somebody has already faced that issue and he knows the solution, that becomes a collaborative learning where he can supply inputs to you. Yes, we have our team of SMEs will also be pitching in to handle your queries. So this one place where you can post all your queries which are available. And this forum is in particular only to the learning related queries and on PBL app. It is nothing to do with any of your other onboarding or BGV kind of activities. You will not be able to post any such queries over here. It is purely for only the PGP related learning. The last part, you also have a dashboard which is there on top of your screen on the top of the menu called My Dashboard. That will give you a clear picture on where you stand, right? The number of exercises that are completed against each module and what is your percentage of progress in completion. These are the various elements which are available to you on this portal, which will help you to take your learning journey forward. So with this, I have come to the end of the presentation. Hope you got a fair and a clear idea about the portal, the process that is related to your login, and what are the elements that are available to you for your learning. Before I wind up, a few more points as a checks which you need to have a note of it. Point number 1, from where can I access this site? Yes, the site is accessible 24/7 on any of the devices, which means you can access the portal from your desktop, laptop, tab, or even from the browsers of your mobile phones. So it is accessible anywhere, any device. Point number 2, only if you have the proper access, if you have enabled, only then you'll be able to access the portal. Point number 3, to access the portal, you need a steady internet connection so that your content opens smoothly. So ensure that you have an adequate bandwidth. Point number 4, this access on the portal is given for your exclusive usage. So please do not share your credentials to somebody else, and there is no option of doing it parallelly. If there are two access happening parallelly for a same account, the account will be blocked and you'll get a session expiry message. So hence, please make sure that you are accessing genuinely and only from one device at a point of time, right? So these are some of the points. The last point is, once you log in, your active session is monitored, and if you're keeping your site idle for 15 minutes of no activity, then your session will get expired. In that case, you need to re-log in and continue. So that's all from my side. Hope you had a good understanding on the concepts. So thanks for your time. Now we'll open up for a few of your queries. Thank you all. Nimra, over to you.
Yeah.